Hi, good evening. Today's it's my honor again to have Ezekiel with us to talk about better sex, better life. So today's topic is really, really interesting, and it most probably will benefit your parents because we are talking about how to live healthily till 99 and still sexually active till 99. Okay,
Yeah.
so you have anybody who are interested to have this sexual longevity where you will be still sexually active when whatever age you are. So share our Facebook and tag whatever friends that you think will benefit from this. Okay. So so today's topic is better sex, better life, sexual longevity. So
Mm.
from statistic, actually among men and women aged around 65 to 80, 40% of them are actually still sexually active. So how can we make sure we are the 40%?
Or how can we increase the 40%,
Oh yeah, increase that
Yeah,
40%. You are so right.
yeah, because
So how can
oftentimes
we
people have a
increase?
very weird association with it that once you start aging, it's like you're expected to be fairly lethargic
Yeah.
or like slow, or like you don't do many of these things anymore and you stay mostly at home and you sit down. But after traveling for so long and seeing different places like Sardinia and Nicoya, and you start seeing that wow, people are in their 80s, they're still on a bicycle, they're still spending time with friends, they're still romantic, and I was like, wow, this is how you want to live.
And
Uh,
and I think nowadays people who are at their 80s are totally different from the old times, They when they are at their 70s, their 80s, they still can drive, they still go out to social. Yeah, so
yeah,
it's totally different from our grandparents' time where 80s means
yeah,
that you are home all the time.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, my favorite Grab driver is 70 and he's driving Grab to keep his mind sharp. So
Wow, wow.
incredible. So it's awesome.
So does he drive? Is his driving skill still okay?
It's very good. And he mostly takes people to go to the airport mostly because he meets foreigners who go back and forth and he listens to the stories that people have.
Wow,
And he keeps his mind sharp. And he doesn't look like in his 70s. He looks like 50, 60 or something.
wow, wow. That's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
so. Imagine. Sorry, is your
And his wife's pregnant. So I'm like,
wow.
whoa.
How old is the wife? I'm
Wife is,
sure the wife is very young, right?
she's in her late 40s, I think, late 40s, early 50s.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. Okay,
Both
not bad.
so physically active. It's crazy. So nice. It's like goals. That's the goal. Goal right
I,
there.
I, I can see that as we age, I notice that people who are at their older age marry a younger partner, whether it's a older man with a younger woman or a older woman with a younger man, it's
Yeah.
always because of the energy level. Like they
Yeah.
are still so active and high in energy that people at their peers might not be able to match that kind of energy that
Yeah.
they have put for a younger person. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a statistic that came around that once people hit their 50s, the variation of age of partnerships already like become very big, and it just becomes a question of does your lifestyle match mine? And then
Yeah.
that's what they make decisions on how to choose companions. And obviously
Mm.
like sexual compatibility is one of them, obviously, at that point. And it's incredible. Like I love the fact that there are actually living examples out there of people who are still very vibrant. I think the word is vibrant. They're very
Yeah.
vibrant in life even at an older age. It's like I feel inspired by that. It's like, oh, I want that. I want to be like that.
Okay. So how can we achieve that? How can we increase that 40% to more? Like 80%, if we can get 80% of the people still sexually active.
Yeah, I think to look at that, let's so 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 there's sexual longevity, and there's this is like longevity in general, and then sexual longevity is a subset of that. And when you check out the places in the world which have the longest living people, centenarians who live to like 100 and still happily active up to 90 plus years old, common parts for them would be regular movement as part of life. So they're not just sitting down all day.
Yeah.
They live with a purpose. So they have something to look forward to every day. They have good social support, and good healthy choices for lifestyle. And I think a lot of these also generally contribute to longer sexual health for both men and women. But I think the practices would be a little bit different because biologically we're also a little bit different.
Yeah.
Uh,
True.
yeah, and then obviously for men, you deal more with things related to erectile dysfunction and then libido for being able to and also like physical, like strength and energy to actually want to do something and just something that's it's great. I can talk about this. So one of the early signs for you to tell that you're doing well as a guy is if you have erections in the morning when you wake up.
Yeah. It's true. So
And
I
I
have a customer who are at his 50s. Like he does not have his morning erection already. And after
Mhm.
doing our MCELA chair, and he started to have morning erection again. So he was like, oh my God, I feel young again.
Yeah, it's such a big deal for people to be able to have this again. And I did not realize how important an indicator that was, because apparently having an erection in the morning is not just in the morning. It means throughout your sleep cycle you had on and off erections. I was like,
Hmm.
shit, that's amazing to be able to do that. Um, and
So
then
if
what
you
about
want to check if your husband is still vibrant and healthy, so
yeah? Are you
just check
checking
if
in the
they still
morning?
have their morning erection.
Are you
If
checking in
not,
the morning when they're sleeping?
so
But what about for women? What are the general things to look for when it comes to sexual longevity that women tend to battle? Not
I,
battle, but like
I think, of course, physically, there are also normal aging of the sexual organs for female. Like, your vagina, especially after menopause.
Mhm.
After menopause, your estrogen level is low. Then your vagina wall is start to thin, and you might have less sensation, less lubrication. So that I think is the challenge as you
Mm.
age. Yeah. I mean, for men, it's erectile dysfunction, but for women, it's vaginal laxity and also
Mhm.
vaginal dryness.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I can go into some of the ones that I've looked into in terms of sexual longevity for men, and it's not just me researching, but it's also sorry, it's not just from people that I've spoken to or I've worked with and interviewed, but also from general medical advice of
Okay.
experts who dabble into this. And the first one, which is really simple, but most people don't think about, is moderate exercise. And moderate exercise is not necessarily going to the gym. Moderate exercise is like taking walks, like
True,
regular walks. And then if
true.
you see people in Okinawa or whatever, their general lifestyles are still very active. They're carrying stuff from the markets or whatever. And because they do a lot of these during the day, they also get a healthy amount of vitamin D in their
Yeah.
bodies. And I've noticed that in myself too. Like I can tell that my libido is very different if have regular sun exposure on a more regular basis. Yeah, and you're just in a generally better mood to
So,
do that.
so, so, so if you see old couples walking in the morning together, that's a good sign.
Yeah,
That's a good
yeah,
sign that they might be still sexually active.
yeah, and in a more not really more extreme, but there's also stats that say that couples who exercise together, who like sweat together, have form a stronger bond as well. And of course, moderate exercise, you can obviously do a bit more. I mean, if you're carrying stuff or go to the gym, or even just you carry, father and mother strength carrying children or whatever, like that already stimulates your hormones properly combined with sunlight. So it's like, yeah, everybody can do that. Just get off your ass and don't sit around all day.
So I think I really agree on that, because I see a lot of couples, old couples, where they do hiking together, they do morning walk together. Usually their relationship are so much more
Yeah,
closer.
it is. Yeah. And physical activities together, like touching each other, etc., is part of that process. It's kind of
Like massaging each other when your muscle is sore.
yeah, it's like a very early foreplay already. Like you already have that stuff going on.
So
Uh,
your foreplay will change as you age, you know. So
yeah,
so when you're younger time, your foreplay might be more extreme, or it's different. But as you age, massaging each other, on your sore area is also part of foreplay.
yeah, and you think about it, like why you that can be a date in itself. Even yeah, take somebody on a hike instead of just going outside and eating dinner or whatever. Yeah, go sunshine and eat and walk together and whatever.
First,
So
first thing to improve, if you want to still be sexually active till 99, make sure you start to have this habit of morning walk or
yeah,
hiking with your partner.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely one.
good.
Another one is obviously food. And as a general note, what's been noticed is that people who live much longer avoid any form of processed food. And
Mm,
processed food is basically can be easily answered by, does this look like something that was farmed or it was killed? Or does it look like a fake food substance that it doesn't look like it's natural? And that's really the only main thing that they look at in terms of general diet of people who live very long and healthy. So I think that's, and also very low sugar, minimal, very low sugar is what they eat, and that tends to be quite fine. I mean, if people here are very interested, they can look up examples called like the Mediterranean style diet, which is a lot of like fruits, veggies, nuts, whole grains, olive oil instead of any other oil,
mm,
moderate seafood, very moderate alcohol. They don't drink beer. Wine is good for them, apparently. They do low dairy and almost no sugar. And these guys do quite well. And
yeah,
obviously in conjunction to that, that affects blood pressure and blood health, which is what contributes to cholesterol, heart attack, stroke, and any of these disease, these conditions. They have problem, they cause problems to the blood flow to your sexual organs, and that's why they can hinder sexual longevity. So you
sure.
can't, then there's that joke, right? Like you cannot outrun a bad diet. No, you just can't. Like you need good blood flow so that you'll have erections. Like it's really just that simple.
Actually, I think to maintain a erection, to prevent you from having erectile dysfunction, actually it's really, really simple. But I think not many people talk about it. So that's
Yeah,
why you can see that why some men, when they are at their 80s, they are still sexually active. And some men at their 40s, they already start to have challenges.
yeah, and it's very easy to see who are the very common cases for men who have erectile dysfunction from 40s. Actually, even like these days, even late 30s, if the lifestyle is quite bad. They have
High stress.
like high stress because high stress, well, whether it be family, social life, work, or any of those, and it causes blood, and combine that with bad eating or bad
Diet.
nutrition, and then your
Yeah.
blood pressure is bad, your blood sugar is bad, and you have a unhealthy weight gain. So more than like 42-inch waist and bigger, man, like for on one hand your blood pressure is bad, so blood flow is bad. At the same time, like that excess fat also gets in the way of like your erections as well.
Yes.
So it's not great, and then that's just a lot of, and it also causes even more stress on men if they see that, oh my, I cannot even properly see my own erections anymore if my gut is too
Yes.
big. It adds to the stress, and then it keeps on it just keeps on going. So
Yeah, so if you are at more than 42-inch waist as a guy, please come to our Beauty and Co to have a free consultation on how to eat healthily. Actually, it's simple, but I think sometimes you need a little bit of guidance here and there. And I think the most important, if you see people who have diabetes, usually their sex life will be affected.
yeah, definitely. And obviously, if the weight loss needs to be a little bit more dramatic to reduce inches, sometimes exercise and diet is just not enough to
Yes.
do that. It's drastic. So you might want to look anything that helps with it. Also, I mean, you guys are looking into technologies that help speed up that process. So that's really good, especially if you're already on that borderline of okay, you just need things to work super fast right away.
I,
And
I think I think if you're only like 2 to 5 kilograms overweight, you might still be able to do it yourself. If you
mm,
are more than 5 kilograms, you definitely need professional help. Because
yeah,
without a proper guidance, you will be very demotivated. Like you're not eating, your metabolic rate is going down, you're losing water, you're losing muscle instead of fats. So
yeah.
yeah, so if you're more than 5 kilograms overweight, I think it's better to seek a professional help to speed up that process of losing weight. Yeah.
Yeah. And another one is, I said that's probably the really big ones. Like the lifestyle really is important for general weight control, like blood health control, vascular system health, and then you need your healthy pelvic floor muscles. Like that's stuff that you do not exercise if you're sitting down a lot. Like you need to squeeze things in your legs to
Oh my
do.
God. I can tell you, do you know that like almost above 80% of people doesn't know that they have a pelvic floor muscle? Like
Really?
a lot
Oh,
of people didn't know. Like every time I talk to a customer, like 8 out of 10 doesn't know there is a pelvic floor muscle. And I was like super surprised that just by improving this pelvic floor muscle, you can improve so much in your sexual health, like better erection, you get erected easier, you can prolong your ejaculation. So I think it's so much more better. And like you have like urine incontinence issue. It's just so easily solved, but nobody talk about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what I think you mentioned something that was very easy to tell in terms of the general health of your pelvic floor muscles. It's like how continuous is it for you to pee? Something as simple as
Yes,
that. Can you
yes.
actually sustain that? And can you play with that purely with just pelvic muscles? And I know it might sound like a childish thing to play with that as a guy, but if you know how to play with this by yourself, that means you have a fairly good control of your pelvic muscle. It's very deeply connected to controlling your own erections and ejaculations and stuff like that. So
And another
exercise.
Yeah, another symptom is also, do you urine in the middle of the night? If you
Oh,
urine a lot in the middle of the night, it's also a symptom that you have a weak pelvic floor muscle.
yeah, like cases are that's definitely true. Or if you're healthy and that's a problem, that usually means, man, like stop drinking like a gallon of water before going to sleep, just do that. But for the most part, it really is still pelvic floor muscle related, I think, for most cases.
A lot
Yeah,
of people go to pee in the middle of the night, like twice and every night. And
yeah,
imagine how it affects their sleep, you
yeah,
know? Yeah,
yeah,
and sleep is also another very important factor
yeah.
to
That
longevity. Yeah.
Yep. Then I was gonna go to the next to that one, which is sleep, and it's not related to. So when somebody tells you that, oh, I need 8 hours of sleep, that's not exactly true. What you need is the number of really good sleep cycles when you sleep. So it could be 6 hours, but you have very good quality sleep in the process. So very simple things to look into for good sleep practices. Just shooting it out for people is stay away from any screen like phone or TV within an hour or so before going to sleep, because like that light, that blue light is going to impact your sleep in the first place. And then you make sure that if you can really make your room black, like invest in things that can cover light completely, that will definitely help you sleep. And also the last one will be the temperature of the room. Try to get it below, say, like 23 degrees Celsius. This will really help in long prolonged sleep. This is for both
So,
men and women for sure.
so the good thing about sex is you can have sex before you sleep. Like 1 hour, then you will not play with your phone. So you will like get all the good hormones out and you can sleep well.
Yeah, I actually think it's a good excuse to do that, because like after that you're already like, I just finished a really physical activity. I don't really feel like,
Yeah.
being on TV or whatever, and so
So the
that one,
good thing is by 10 o'clock, you shut down the Wi-Fi, then
yeah,
you can have 1 hour of sex before you sleep. So you can sleep before 12.
yeah.
Good, good routine.
Yeah, and I've gotten to the point where I remove all digital devices from my own bedroom, just so that you don't get tempted to reach for it in the first place, and stuff. No smoking. Smoking has been linked with poorer erections and poorer mood, like lethargic mood in general. It may not seem like that at the beginning, but over time, it's like withdrawing from sugar. At the beginning, it's so weird, and then if you've been gone from it for a while, it's like, whoa, my energy levels are so much better. And the last one, which that's smoking and alcohol, I would say, is like cut back on that one because that really impacts. And the last one, which some people might not really understand why, but is for men, minimize pornography. And let me talk about that just a little bit. What I mean by pornography, I'm referring to unnatural pornography, I would say, because if you're constantly looking at very unrealistic, uh, like
Way
sexual
of having sex.
exactly, like images that are very unrealistic, you might associate that that's the only thing that will turn you on as a man. So if you encounter like your girlfriend or your partner, suddenly that stuff doesn't really like it doesn't entice
Browse.
you anymore, and then that's going to cause problems for you. So I would say stay away from strange unnatural pornography if you can.
I think especially it's really, really sad when a man is like watch pornography and that's the only way he can get aroused
Yeah,
and he cannot make love to a real woman next to him. I feel
yeah,
that is like super, super sad.
yeah. And
Yeah.
there's I was working with a couple last week with that specific problem.
Mm,
They both consume pornography,
mm.
and they have very different genres that they enjoy.
Okay.
So they can't even find the intersection of what they both like that they can do together.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm all for couples. I mean, you know me. I'm all for couples who do sexual exploration, and if they can find uh like fun things that they can do together, I think that's nice. But if your definitions of what turns you on are so different, I think that might not be a very good long term strategy if you want a healthy sex life. So
So talking about pornography, I have also a lot of customers who told me like the husband will say, okay, you watch pornography to get yourself aroused first, which
mm,
I felt in a way, maybe the husband is lazy in doing foreplay. Do you think it's right to watch pornography and get aroused and then comes to your partner?
I think it would be. I don't think it's a hard yes or a hard no.
Okay.
But I think what's not healthy is if that's the only way for you to get aroused in the
Wow.
first place. Uh, Man, that says a lot about. I think something is easy for me as okay. Natural way of looking at it. I'm walking around and I see someone who I find genuinely attractive, and if I can feel like, wow, this person's really hot. That means, generally speaking, I can still say that I'm still more in the natural state of things.
Okay.
But if I don't have that anymore, and the only thing that turns me on is I need to go home and I need to open my my private activities and see this weird stuff that I look, or not. Let's not say weird. Say like,
Watching anime,
well,
anime pornography.
if
You are
it,
not attracted to real women anymore, only anime.
I was gonna go like, I think that stuff is still okay for as long as
Okay.
you're not obsessed with certain genres of pornography, such as very unrealistic, unreal versions of it. I think that's the thing that really triggers it for people when you don't get enticed by natural looking things anymore.
So I think that is all about addiction, right? Like if you watch it and you can differentiate the reality and what is not real, that is still okay. But
Yeah.
if you watch it so much and it programs your brain in a way that you think that that fantasy is the only way, then it becomes an addiction.
Yeah,
Like
it's
you can only do it this way.
I would say it's addiction, and I think worse is dependency.
Okay. Yeah.
When you need it, like you actually need it, that's even worse.
Yeah.
So,
True.
and then there are cases of men like that, and men and women like that too. I mean, it's not exclusive to men. So I would say that be very be very deliberate about your choice of material that you consume that aids in your sexual life in the first place. Make sure that you choose ones that are useful and not actually pulling you out of uh, the natural way of, not natural way, but like your natural urges as a human being. So I think those are the ones for men. I'm not qualified to talk about the ones for women because
I
I'm
think
not.
before we go into women, I think I would want to talk a little bit more on the stress.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's a good
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
I think that is what a lot of people are facing. I mean, a younger man maybe they have stress in terms of their workload, and older men they will have stress like, am I able to perform? I think sometimes that stress, like, uh, especially when I hear customers saying, I get erected and I wanted to come before my erection goes off, like I
Mhm.
can't get erected again. But I think because of that fear or that stress, it, it will even make it harder for them to perform.
Yeah, that's unnecessary stress for people, and that stress comes along because there's the expectation that that's how sex is supposed to go. And sometimes it doesn't have to be that way. That doesn't have to be the only goal of it. It's
True.
so if you change the goal, just change the
Yeah.
objective. If sometimes you will have days, I guess for older couples, I guess where they will have days where someone is more turned on than the other, and you still want to do it anyway, and that's fine. Like you play
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be everybody's like, whoa, 120% all the time. I mean, that's a fairly
And I
unrealistic
think I think
expectation.
the goal of it's not necessary that you need to definitely have ejaculation as well.
Mm,
Even women, it doesn't necessary that you need to have orgasm today. You
mm,
can have orgasm any other day. But today, if you're not in a mood to have orgasm, but your partner is in a mood to have sex, you still can do it. But I
yeah.
think that expectation and that stress, how can we manage the stress better?
Well, number one is you change that expectation in the first place. Hopefully, you get you and your partner to have be on the common ground of what the objective is of having sex together as partners. If your objective is you orgasm and I orgasm, that's very stressful. That's a very
Yeah,
stressful. That's so
yeah,
stressful. But if
yeah,
your goal is let's have fun together and
yeah.
and then
Enjoy each other.
each other's company and also explore each other, then yeah, there's so many things you can do with that.
Oh, true.
That's definitely one. And then the second one, which I would have really looked at is, okay, it's gonna come back to me. I was thinking of something. I was thinking of definitely something that I wanted to share on that topic.
And I think family stress is also another one that, sometimes you have kids sleeping with you, you have kids knocking on your door. And I hear a lot of men saying that anytime they are like fully erected and when their kids knocking on their door, they go soft.
Yeah. Well, kids, mother-in-law, father-in-law, grandparents, depends.
Imagine you're halfway and your mother-in-law knocking on your door. Oh my God.
Yeah, but a healthy couple for a good sex life, in general, good relationship, I guess, would want to have at least once a week of very private time where you're not thinking about somebody might just suddenly come around and knock on your door or whatever. That's a very good reason to have date nights or things like that. Oh, another thing that I wanted to talk about on the stress part is, uh, I actually wouldn't recommend, as much as I would like everybody to have more frequent sex. I would say that another reason why you don't want the stress of having an orgasm as the objective of every sexual meeting that you have is that men, whenever they ejaculate, your testosterone levels go down so much. And that's the same energy that you require for creative thinking, willpower to perform at work, and even if you're an athlete, it drains your energy so much. So I would recommend that you have regular sexual activity because of the hormones and the benefits it gives. But for men, the idea of ejaculating all the time is probably not a good idea. And even I generally aim for like once a week at most for me.
This will take a lot of education, I tell you. You need to educate so much of men to know that when you have sex, it doesn't mean you need to ejaculate, So, and you're saying, okay, you can have sex every day, but just ejaculate once a week. I think that needs a lot of education. You need to just have one life talking about this.
Yeah, because I would like to channel that energy into my work and to the things that I'm passionate about. Because otherwise, I will go to my jujitsu practice if I had like ejaculations a few hours before or like the previous, just last night, and I go to jujitsu training and I'm like, oh my God, I just don't want to do anything.
And I think if you have sex every day and not ejaculate, you will still have that desire towards your partner, like everything.
That's tension. That's sexual tension building. So when you get to that day, it's like
yes, yeah. So I think if you ejaculate every day, then it's really really hard to usually for women, we love it when a man like feels so much of desire wanting her. But if you ejaculate every day, I don't think you will have that desire wanting her every day. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see that in young men who are addicted to pornography and they ejaculate or masturbate multiple times a day. And you see that generally their lifestyle is, they're usually stuck in a computer. They're not exactly doing anything productive with their lives. It's just that also helps in it just drops your mood so much if you're constantly depleted of your male energy that way. And this is not medical advice, people. Just know that it's not medical advice.
No, so this really redefine what you meant by sexually active, because a lot of men will think, oh, I can have sex every day, I am ejaculating every day, and they will feel so proud about it. But I think if you redefine it, if you are able to have sex every day without ejaculation, that is something you should be really proud of.
Yeah, and calling out to men and women, please, please, please do not pressure yourselves to want to make your partner have an orgasm. That's not helping anybody. There's nothing more awkward than the feeling that, okay, my partner is really trying.
So I'm wondering, when you have sex every day and you don't ejaculate, I even have colleagues telling me, like, because that day she was like sharing with me that the husband takes too long to come and things like that. Then I was saying, then don't come. Why do you want to pressure him to come? He said, no, I need him to come. Or else I feel I did not achieve my goal.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it's the goal. Like why is that the goal? Don't make that the goal. It's no, it's not gonna make anybody not gonna make anybody
I
happy.
think that really needs a lot of education, because a lot of people think that if I don't ejaculate, then it's not a good sex,
Yeah.
which is totally wrong. We really need to redefine that.
Yeah. Well, I would say that for like older people or older men, I would say that a healthier goal would be at the beginning and say, do I have consistent healthy erections within the day? Like within the day, just natural erections during the day without even really doing anything. Like if that's an incredible feeling. If you're there's nothing like the feeling of I'm sitting down and I have to tell people I say, hey Kia, let's go. I was like, let me wait for a little bit more. I'll catch up with you guys. But actually the real reason is I'm trying to wait for an erection to go down.
Okay.
Anyway, okay, let's move on to women.
Okay, let's move on to women. Okay, I think for women, sexual longevity, I think again, number one is your physical fitness. Um, of course, again, if you're obese and you might not have that kind of stamina. And I think the most important is the self image, the self body image. I think women, whether it's a young or even old, the body image is really, really important. And I noticed that a lot of women after the age of 40, they start to have self acceptance better. Uh, I mean, ironically, younger women actually are not happy with their body size, although they are young and fit. But after the age of 40, I realized that a lot of women have better self acceptance. So if a woman has a better self acceptance or take care of her body better, I think she will be more sexually active. Because if you have a very negative body image, you might not want to make love to yourself. So you might not even want to make love to anybody. So I think that self-image is positive self-image is really important, and the sexual confidence is really important. And of course,
easiest ways to easily improve self body image? Because I know this is a lot more common in women than it is more common in men. But
yeah.
what are the most common ways to improve this?
I think expectation again, like when you're young, you expect yourself to look this way, but when you have already give birth, you don't expect yourself to look like when you're 18. So you need to accept that, my body is amazing. It goes through so much of transformation, able to carry a baby. You need to look at your body in a different way, setting a different expectation. So I think that is one thing, because I feel that a lot of times women set unrealistic expectation to themselves.
Yeah, it's like the kind of pop culture that you look around to see, like, what is the ideal
Yes.
picture of a beautiful woman? It's
The Instagram.
my God,
and
like
and
these filters are crazy. Like you can make a 10-year-old girl look like she's in her 20s. It's like no,
and
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 it's
sometimes I
Photoshop
feel
anyway.
that women should also try to share what is more realistic. Like, I
Mm.
have also a lot of customers who are like, after pregnancy, after giving birth, when they show their photos, they only show the good parts but not the bad parts. So people are asking, wow, she just gave birth, why is her body so fit? But actually she's showing the fit part, and the non-fit part nobody can see.
Yeah.
So So we as a beauty center, we see everything, and we know that if you set this type of unrealistic expectation, you will be very, very depressed, and you will keep on self-sabotage yourself. You will think that, oh, am I a failure because I'm not disciplined enough? And you will keep on having that kind of guilt and blaming yourself. So I think self-acceptance is really, really important, and setting realistic expectation.
Yeah.
And how can you imagine that at the age of 80, your boobs are still perky, you will be sagging, So if you are looking at your body and you keep on complaining you're not toned enough and things like, of course you can slow down the aging, but you need to set realistic expectation.
Yeah,
I think that.
and as a general note, like low self-esteem is psychological and physical. So the psychological side of it is stay away from looking at this all day long, because a lot of it is not real. And on a physical standpoint, I would say, yeah, if you want to like it's a combination of how you look and actually how you feel as well about how you look. So if you're constantly exercising or living healthy, your body will look better and your hormones will also feel better too. So it all contributes.
So physically active is definitely, I think for myself, at younger age, I don't really like to exercise, but at this age, I'm running every day, because I know that, if you want to slow down aging, that is part of the lifestyle we should have. So I think, if you want to feel physically and mentally attractive, I think, exercise is definitely one of the way. And I also think self-love also include the purpose in life. Like sometimes as a woman, when their children grow up, they grow up and they leave home, and suddenly she felt empty and she lost her direction. That will also sabotage her self-esteem.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I think having a purpose in life is also important. Because when you have enthusiasm and you still have that kind of vibrancy, you definitely are more attractive sexually.
Yeah, and I think the people overthink the whole idea of living life with a purpose. No, we're not saying that I need to go out there and save the planet and colonize Mars like Elon Musk. No, that's not what I mean. It's the idea that you have something to look forward to every day, even if it's a hobby. Even if it's a hobby or an interest beyond just taking care of other people. I think that's more than good enough.
Interest is really important. Like I have friends who are like currently so into gardening. Like every morning when they wake up, they are like looking forward to look at whether the plant is growing or not. So I think the purpose in life is really, really important.
Yeah, and it's even nicer if your interests also contribute to your health practices. So gardening, you have sunlight, you carry stuff. It's great. It's definitely great.
And of course, when we talk about physical fitness, of course, we can't get away from normal aging of our sexual organs. Women, we have gone through so much of ups and downs, like example, pregnancy. A lot of times, every pregnancy, your body will age, because you have go through so much of like a trauma. Because imagine the baby coming out from your vagina. There's so much of damages around the vagina. So if you have like multiple child, then that will usually have quite a lot of damage. So it will cause like vaginal laxity. So usually vaginal laxity will only happen after menopause because of your estrogen level goes down. But because of pregnancy, vaginal laxity might happen earlier age. It can happen as early as like 30 over years old after you have a few pregnancy. So of course, vaginal laxity, with today's technology, there are solutions towards vaginal laxity, like we are doing vaginal tightening. Of course, the previously it is slightly more invasive, like surgery, laser, but right now these are non-invasive, and it's
Mm-hmm.
such a simple solution. Like after 3 sessions of that particular treatment, your vagina is rejuvenated. Right, so I think that is really really important when it comes to this sexual health for women, because if your vagina is very loose and lack of elastin, basically you don't feel much sensation. So when you don't have much sensation, you might not have that kind of desire, or you might not enjoy it as much, or you might not achieve orgasm as much. So that is definitely needs to improve. And of course, for women, it's also pelvic floor muscle. After multiple kids or even one kids, because of lack of exercise or things like that, you might have uterus prolapse. If the uterus is prolapsed, you definitely will have pain during sex. So that you need to really solve it. So I always advise any woman who gone through a pregnancy, they definitely need to do the vaginal rejuvenation, and they definitely need to educate their pelvic floor muscle, like strengthen back their pelvic floor muscle before the second pregnancy.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you like? What about for women who go through, like, say, a cesarean,
Yeah.
like a C-section? How does
Yeah.
that what is the general process for them to recover to being able to go back into sexual, like, not just sexual activity, but just in general physical activity, like in general?
Actually, today's technology, after cesarean, about 6 to 8 weeks, you should be able to resume back your
Hmm.
sexual life. But of course, if you're breastfeeding, while when you give birth, a lot of people breastfeed up to 6 months. So usually they will suffer like vaginal dryness. That is
Uh,
why lubrication is really, really important. And if you have like vaginal birth, you might have trauma, like the first time you want to reintroduce sex back. Some people might not have sex for like 3 months after giving birth, and when they want to start the sex back, they need to make sure they have lubrication, like a good lubricants. If not, the first time if you have sex after birth and it's so painful, it will cause trauma to you. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so of course we talk about vaginal laxity and lubrication. I think lubrication, of course, at older age is a definite yes. Like there's no way if you tell me after menopause you are still well lubricated. There's no way, because you can't fight against hormone. So you definitely need lubrication, a good lubricants. So we are very very lucky to have these lubricants called Woman Essential from France, that really really good quality. I think most of the women who is after menopause who use it will always tell me that, wow, this is like, in Chinese they call it 神仙水, means it's like the god, the god water, So
Yeah.
like it's so good for them, and it's really not easy to find a good lubricants in the market. So I think a good lubrication is really important, and I think another thing is, as we age, to maintain a healthy sex life with your partner, I think communication is very, very important. Because a lot of times, a man, maybe because of the stress that they can't perform, they become like more distant to the wife because of the stress, not able to perform. And the wife might feel that I don't feel wanted anymore. So I think it's really important to talk about it, like, and it's, of course, it's not an easy topic, but if you communicate all the time, I think that really help. Because a lot of times maybe your husband really desire you, but it's just that the stress of not able to please you or not able to perform well make him like a bit more reluctant to have sex.
Or if they're very very stressed out at in other parts of life, like at work or anything else, I think that one was something that I saw the other day with people that I was working this couple that I was working with. The stress levels of both of them related to work is so high that sometimes all they needed was the other person to actually initiate conversation, to even just talk about the stress, and then they're in the mood all of a sudden. Just to like, give them space to actually talk about it.
Yeah, I think communication is really, really important. And I see that a lot of times, I mean, in every episode, we stress this, I think, you know,
We
I
stress
think,
about stress.
of course, now Ellie is showing this intimate care. I think intimate care is also very important, like intimate hygiene. As we age, because of vaginal dryness and things like that, you really need a good wash, a good intimate wash. And sometimes you might also have smell. If you want to smell good, we have this deodorant which is really good. Kills, I have not sent this deodorant to you. I sent this deodorant to you. It's like amazing. I can tell you, I have customers who actually buy this in a dozen. I don't know how they use, but they buy it in a dozen.
Is this strictly for women?
Yeah, I mean, it can be used for men and women. And imagine when your partner is giving you oral and you smell so good, and the smell is so natural and so fresh. It's not artificial kind of smell. So then it definitely will make your partner more willing to give you oral sex or even kiss you and things like that. Of course, the lubrication, I cannot stress enough. I think lubricants is needed for anybody who is sexually active. And the moisturizer is definitely important for older women, because as we age, our skin is drier and things like that. That moisturizer is really good. And the moisturizer is also very good for post-sex. After sex, you use the moisturizer, because sometimes when you have sex, for quite a long period of time, you might also have friction and you might have some tear, and that is really very good for rejuvenation and also for healing. And it's really good for people who just gave birth, because of the tear they have, and that is really good for healing.
Also very good for people who want prolonged sessions and continuously prolonged sessions.
Very much. Yeah, I always say if you want a longer session, you definitely need a lubricant.
Yeah.
And women will not will not have the stress of, I'm drying out and I'm drying out kind of thinking. Yeah, so I think lubricants is definitely important.
What do you think about grooming?
Grooming?
Yeah,
like no hair, right? Like Brazilian.
I mean, there's various versions of it depending on what is your fancy, I guess.
I always tell my customer, like, once you go Brazilian, you cannot go back. It's like once you're like hairless, it's like so much more clean and hygiene. And imagine when you have a lot of hair and your girlfriend is giving you a hand job, you might easily pull your hair, and like
also like when you're sweating and there's also like hair, it adds to like there's smell, and and it accumulates. Like there's a lot of hygienic elements that can be discussed with grooming.
So we do hair removal. The permanent hair removal, like after 6 to 10 sessions, you basically hairless. You don't need. I have a male customer who actually go and shave himself, and there's once he shave and he bleed, and sometimes when you shave, it's your hair will be like perky, like pain, and when you have sex, your partner will feel like, wow, it's pain. So I think permanent hair removal is really good. I think once you go hairless, you would not want the hair anymore.
Yeah, that's a topic in itself, because like a lot of people find that very. I think there's different cultures have very different opinions on that, but I'm genuinely in the support of groom everything. Groom everything.
Like
Well, not necessarily hairless. It's just don't let it become like Black Forest crazy. Like, do something about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Yeah, I think so. I think so. I also think the hygiene is really important. So yeah, with the hair, you definitely trap something there, oil or whatever. Yeah, I think to me, I think hairless is important. Okay, then we talk a little bit about building intimacy. I think the level of intimacy shared with a long-term partner is also a factor that can make sex better than it is younger years. So I think, a lot of times when as we age, we tend to forget to build intimacy. Like
Mhm.
people will think that, oh, candlelight dinner, go dating is for young people. I think for older couple, it's also very important to build this type of intimacy, like have a romantic movie together, candlelight dinner, massage, or whatever intimacy means to you. I think building intimacy with your partner is really important.
Yep. It feels good. If it generally makes you feel good about yourself and with another person, invest in that time. I mean, there's this thing. What was
There's
that
a
saying?
fine.
If your time, like if the general feeling that you mostly have when you're with your partner is obligation, responsibility, and it's just like if these are the main things that are constantly, and you don't feel a sense of excitement or joy or fun on a regular basis as well with them, then how is that going to be sexually enticing for you if your partner is only a reminder of more stress in your life? Come on. Like, you guys need to do stuff that makes you both love life more together.
True. I think that's really important because sometimes, so much of stress in life, you keep on like screaming at each other and you forget how to talk nicely to each other. You
Yeah.
know? So yeah, so that's the, and I think final thing that I would want to share as well. I think, generally women live longer than men. Do you know that?
I think on the average, yes. Not
Okay.
on the not in the blue zones that I've been looking at.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. So in average, women actually live longer than men. And I also think that a lot of women, when their husband pass away, they stop looking for a partner. Unlike men, I think men usually, if their partners pass away, they will usually find another partner. But because it's for men generally, they find a younger woman, right? So it's easier to find a healthier younger woman. But for women, I feel that usually when their husband pass away, they stop looking for a partner, which I feel maybe it's society, like society expectation as well. And I think it's important to do what makes you happy. If you think you enjoy, especially if you have a very good relationship, and if your husband passed away after grief, you enjoy having a partner, you should look for a partner. And
yep.
sometimes if I have seen women who are at her 70s and she is still so attractive and so high energy, and she's dating men who are at their 50s. And she told me that she can only date younger men because men who are at her age does not have that kind of energy like her, like yeah. So she will start dating younger men. So I think that is also yeah, that should we should change the definition of society that after the husband die, the woman should stop looking for partner. And imagine if you lost your partner at 60s and you are able to live up to 100, right?
Yeah, and I think there's just it's also mostly a lot of it's either number one, they become afraid of losing another partner, or number two is the general feeling that my life has already kind of ended with my partner. And number
Yeah.
three is the general taboo that a woman can find another partner after being married, it's like those are all not exactly very healthy ways of looking at things. It's like, no, you have just as much right to fulfill your own happiness in companionship, whether you're
True.
a man or a woman after your main partner in life has moved on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have that, like you have that right to do so as well. So
Okay, good. So today we have talked about sexual longevity. And if you think this really benefits your friends or your family, please share this live to your friends and family. And again, here we in Beauty and Co, we also help people in terms of sexual health. So if you have any sexual problem, you can always come to our B and Co clinic for consultation and see what we can help you. And our next episode, we'll talk about how we can use sex to make your relationship or your marriage stronger. So if you are interested to strengthen your marriage or strengthen your relationship, please join us 3 weeks later. Okay. So, Kills, any final say before we end today's live?
no, I think it's good. I love this topic in general. So
Okay, so thanks everybody who joined us. So and happy Chinese New Year and stay safe. Bye.